What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Daft Previews, and I'm here to take you through the most comprehensive NBA player prop preview for the Dallas Mavericks and the Minnesota Timberwolves Game 2. If it's your first time checking out the channel, I encourage you to subscribe because I do this every single day. I share my screen, we go through outline, I take you through all the players, their matchups, their props, their form lines, the odds. We talk about fantasy, sports betting, what I like, what I don't, and I do all this to give you all the information that you need to make the best bets possible. Now, in that last video, we previewed the Pacers and the Celtics. We did hit a few winners. Boston Celtics team total cash. Miles Turner under 1.5 rebounds cash. Luke Cornett points and rebounds did not cash. Poor fella, sprained wrist, didn't finish off the game. But for the most part, some really good reads there, and I hope you guys did cash in on that. So let's jump into outlier. Actually, before we get into outline, let's check out the box score from the last game between the Mavericks and the Timberwolves to see if we can find any value in it, and then we'll jump into the outlier. If that sounds interesting, let's go. All right, taking a look at the box score, Dallas won the first game 108 to 105. Checking out the box score so we can get a read on what could potentially change in this upcoming game. Before I get through that, Mike game time decision. Luka is 2, but I think they both play. Total line 207, so a low scoring game. Minnesota a 5.5 point favorite, so keep that in mind. Going through the box score in the last game, starting with the Dallas Mavericks. Derrick Jones Jr., 8 points, 4 boards. Nothing crazy there. Did cover his rebounds line. PJ Wash, 13 points, 7 boards. Covered his rebound line. Fell a bit short on his points line, I think, or was just thereabouts. Daniel Gafford, 10 points, 9 boards, covering both of his lines. Kyrie Irving had 30 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. So absolutely demolished his points line. We did take him for 20, 25, and 30 in that last game. We'll see if we do it again. We had Luka Doncic. He had 33 points, 8 assists, and 6 boards. Off the bench, Derek Lively had 9 points and 11 rebounds. So the Mavericks bigs had a lot of success in this game. Jumping into the Timberwolves real quick, we had Jaden McDaniels. Went crazy. Player of career high, 24 points, 4 boards. Karl Anthony Towns, 6 from 20 from the field, so didn't shoot very well. 16 points and 7 boards. Rudy Gobert had 12 points and only 7 rebounds. Anthony Edwards only had 19 points, 11 boards, and 8 assists. So we did cash under 22.5 points for Anthony Edwards in that last game. An excellent read from myself. Mike Conley, pretty poor from him. Under in his points, rebounds, and assists, 6, 3, and 3. Nickeil Alexander-Walker off the bench. Got a bit of a run, but only scored 2 points. Kyle Anderson and Naz Reid were big off the bench. 11 points for Kyle Anderson, and Naz Reid had 15 points and 5 rebounds. So going over, firstly, the Dallas Mavericks destroyed Minnesota on the inside, whereas Minnesota were the ones making all the 3-pointers in this game. So that was something that I did not expect. I did expect Kyrie and Luka to go off, and I do expect those two to score a lot more points throughout this series. For the Minnesota Timberwolves, didn't have any confidence in Anthony Edwards. Jaden McDaniels, that was a complete surprise. I did want to wait and see how the Mavericks would play defensively. I think they're going to live with Jaden McDaniels getting some buckets. So his points prop, that could be a very interesting look. Karl Anthony Towns struggles at home. Was actually quite aggressive. Led the team in shot attempts, just didn't shoot that well. So we could potentially look at an over for him. In terms of Mike Conley, I think there's a chance that he might get less minutes in this game because he is a liability on the defensive end. And if he's not producing on offense, why do you have him on there? They could play some read stuff to give them more size, but we shall see. So let's jump into outlier. We'll talk about this game, and hopefully we can find some bangers. Let me refresh this page to get the most updated data on here, and we'll get straight into it. While this is loading up, I'll remind you, I do have a 7-day free trial for Outlier in the video description below. Click on that link. Not only can you use it on NBA, MLB, NHL, WNBA, that's what I'm going to be pounding it on. Once the NBA season is done, I'm still producing daily videos. We'll get the WNBA stuff happening, and I'm even going to put out some MLB videos as well. So we'll start with the road team. Firstly, the Dallas Mavericks. That's where we're going to kick things off. Let's start with the dog first. Luka Doncic, where you at, my boy? Very clutch in that last game. Fourth quarter, man was unstoppable. Doesn't matter who was defending him, couldn't slow Luka down. Now, Luka, let's start with his points line, see where it's at. 28.5 points for Luka Doncic. He's covered this in 6 of his last 10. Against the Minnesota Timberwolves, he's covered this in 4 consecutive games. In that last game, 33 points in 40 minutes. He shot the ball 26 times, so the volume's great. 46%. Didn't overachieve in that area, and he shot poorly from downtown. 3 from 10, and he didn't get to the free throw line too much. So the way that I look at this is I only see an upside here for Luka. So I do like his points prop in this game. And the reason why I like it is because the way the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I said this prior to the first game, the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to back themselves to defend Luka and Kyrie one-on-one. Very different to that OKC series. They were sending 2 men at those guys every single time to get the ball out of their hands. Minnesota backing the defenders that they have to limit Luka and Kyrie on one-on-ones. It didn't necessarily work, but they did shut down a lot of the role players. But Luka on single coverage, 28.5 points on the road. Give me that. So, as another call out to make is that your star players generally score more on the road because the role players are a little bit more quiet. So, Luka's points prop, I do like that. Assist, 8.5 is the line. He had 8 assists in that last game. He's covered this in 2 out of his last 6 games against the Timberwolves. Had 13 potential assists, not sky high. Got a lot of assists to Gafford and Lively, because the shooters weren't necessarily shooting too well. So on the road, I don't expect an uplift in their shooting percentage. So the assist side for Luka, I'd probably stay away from. His rebounds, 8.5. He had 6 boards in that last game. 3 straight games against Minnesota, he's gone under his rebound line. He's covered this in 2 out of his last 6 games against them. Looking at his last 10, he has rebounded well as of late, but a lot of that wasn't that OKC series. So if we talk about matchups and how these teams play, I don't necessarily love the rebound line here for Luka. He only had 11 rebound chances in that last game, and he played 40 minutes. So the rebounds, I'd have to lean to the under. So the way that if you were desperate to get some plays out, I'd be looking at over in Luka's points, under in Luka's rebounds plus assists. Sweaty bet because my man does rack up stats. But also in this particular game, we're expecting, well, not we, but the majority of people are expecting Minnesota to bounce back, for them to be better. The line at 5.5, I think it's bigger than it was in the first game. I could be wrong about that, but a lot of people are expecting Minnesota to make some adjustments and to be better, which means you can the under for some of Dallas players is going to be a look. So Luka under rebounds and assists, that's a lean of mine, but I do like his points over a little bit more. Jumping into Kyrie Irving. So Kyrie was a beast in that last game, especially in the first half. 24 points in the first half. His first quarter points line's at 5.5. I don't think Anthony Edwards has said anything about Kyrie since. So I don't know. I'm a little bit cautious on the points line here for Kyrie. 23.5. So he did score 30 in that last game. OKC, happy to get rid of that. But if we think about the head-to-head matchups against Minnesota, 3 straight games, he scored 30-plus points against them. And that is because of the way that Minnesota Timberwolves do play defense. Now, I would lean to the over for Kyrie's points. It has gone up by 3. We look at the volume. That last game, he shot the ball 23 times, 52% from the field. He didn't even make a 3-pointer, which gives upside to this bet, but he did get to the free throw line. So Kyrie, not notorious getting to the line. He was very aggressive, attacking the rim, attacking in transition. Look, I hate it, but I do like Kyrie's over in this one, because for Kyrie to score 30 points and not even make a 3-pointer just goes to show what type of mood he was in. Didn't get pretty with it. So the 3-pointers, if he can get those to drop as well, 23.5 is Norton. Looking at his assists, 4.5, 4 assists in that last game, 2 out of his 3 against Minnesota. Only had 5 potential assists in that last game. Like I said, Minnesota happy to play him in single coverage. A lot of these assists he had to really work hard for. So the opportunities may not be there. So I don't necessarily like the over for the assists. I'd probably lean to the under, but not a bet that I want to take. Rebounds, 3.5 for Kyrie at minus 130. This is not a bet that I would take straight up at these odds, but if you're playing on Dabble Fantasy, Chalkboard, any of those types of apps, Kyrie Irving over 3.5 boards is the way to go. Now, I'm not going to plug the hell out of this video again because I am recording this quite late, but Dabble Fantasy, Chalkboard, sign up today, use the code DARF. Once you make your first deposit, I get a little kickback. So go ahead, support me, help me get out of the hood. But it's not just all about me. Chalkboard's going to give you a deposit match, and Dabble Fantasy is just going to throw cash your way. So you get a benefit out of using my codes too. But yeah, I like the odds. I just don't like the odds for them for a straight bet. All right, next up, look at PJ Washington. So PJ Washington, if you did not watch that last game, had a lot of open looks and he missed a lot of them. He did make it when it counted. I think he made a 3-pointer with less than 2 minutes to go, which really put the Mavs up. But for the most part, didn't shoot very well. Now, his points line in this game is at 11.5. He did score 13 points in that last game. That was his first match with Minnesota since he got traded. So covered this line. He's going to get a lot of minutes, 40 minutes. He only took 10 shots in that game, shot 40% from the field, 2 from 8 from downtown. So that's 25%. If you look at his last 10 games, he's shooting 41% from 3. If you look on the season, he's shooting 33%. So he possibly could have made one more 3-pointer in that game to kind of sit towards his average. There's room for improvement is what I'm saying in PJ Washington. If you look at volume alone, I do like the over in this. What I need to do is just, if you're just looking at the data, then yeah, the over looks good. But what you need to do is attach the game script to these props. Whereas you're on the belief that Minnesota come out and romp these Mavericks boys, then a lot of the overs that I have as lean, probably not a good play. But if you're somebody who thinks his game's going to be tight, PJ Washington's going to get another 40 minutes. It's not going to be a blowout. He's going to get his shots. Then the 11.5 is not a bad look. At minus 120, I'm probably a little bit hesitant on it. If I'll line shop, I can find this at about minus 110, then I'll probably be all over it because the volume's nice. He took 10 shots in that game. 8 of them were 3-pointers. I think I had this as a lean in the last game. PJ Washington over 1.5 3-pointers. The odds for that are pretty much gone. Over 1.5 is not going to, it's minus 220 now, so it's not great at all. So the points prop is probably the next best thing. Rebounds, he did rebound well in that game. So let's check to see where his line's at today. 5.5. So the line has moved, but the odds have come down. Minus 130. Those odds aren't great. He's hit this in 6 of his last 10. 7 boards in that last game. 13 rebound chances, which is great. So he had more rebound chances than Luka Doncic, but his rebound line's at 5.5. Luka's is at 8.5. So PJ Washington definitely leaning to the overs there on his rebounds. But at these odds, this is probably another thing that I'd whack into Chalkboard or Dabble or any other fantasy apps. PJ Washington boards is a pretty good look. I'm a little bit uncertain of taking that as a straight bet at odds, but I definitely lean heavily over there for him. Next up, we've got DG, Daniel Gafford. So I think the easiest way to play Daniel Gafford is to play his points plus rebounds. We'll break down each prop and see where we land. So his points line's at 8.5. He has cashed this 7 out of his last 10. 4 consecutive games. That was his only against Minnesota since he got traded. He only played 21 minutes. He did take 9 shots, though. He was 5 from 9. Didn't even get to the free throw line. So the extra shot attempts probably come from Minnesota letting him get those buckets off. A lot of these were open dunks. So, yeah, I definitely like the over Daniel Gafford on his points. The next look is his rebounds, 5.5, which is low as a motherfucker. He's covered this in 7 of his last 10, 4 straight games. He had 16 rebound chances, which is crazy. So, yeah, this is definitely one I'd be looking at the over for. Daniel Gafford rebounds. I think because this is so low, you can probably get some value if you take him if you ladder this from 5.5, 7, 8, you could get a little bit more. But these odds as a straight bet are excellent. So I like the rebounds. I like the points plus rebounds, 14.5. I've seen this as low as 13.5 on some books, but at 14.5, it's plus money. So I could be enticed to take that as well. But I do like them all. I like his points. I like his rebounds more. But his points plus rebounds, better odds. Meaning, when you make this bet and it cashes, you put more profit into your pocket. Whilst we're on Daniel Gafford, let's talk about Derek Lively because they pretty much, one of them is on the court at all times. They pretty much split the game. D Live, his line's similar to Gafford's, 8.5 points at plus money. He scored 9 points in that last game. He does get more minutes than Gafford, though, but does take less shots. So only took 4 shots and he was 4 from 4. He did not miss. Made his only free throw. So the points prop for D Live, I'm a little bit hesitant to take that. He's more likely to pass the ball than Daniel Gafford is. He goes straight up if he gets close to the rim. Miss it or not. He doesn't care if Rudy's there. Daniel Gafford's probably going to go up. Whereas D Live, probably a little bit more hesitant in that regard. So he does shoot a higher percentage. Looking at his rebounds, 6.5. So his line is 1 rebound higher than Daniel Gafford, whereas Derek Lively comes off the bench. But Derek Lively also gets more minutes. Check this out. 21 rebound chances in that last game and secured the 11 boards. So this is another player where I like the rebounds to go over. Now, Derek Lively, That's at minus 135. So I do not like those odds at all. So that's probably one for your fantasy guys. Bit of DFS action for you right there. I'm just going to mark these off because I'm taking note of these. Who else is there? Kyrie's rebounds. That's a fantasy play, I think. What else was there? I think PJ Washington's. And Derek Lively. Shit. I'm liking a lot of players to go over on points, a lot of them to go over on rebounds. I'm gonna have to go through all this shit all over again. But the rebound chances are in there. The total in this game is still only 207. That last game finished at 213. So that they're expecting somewhat less points than we saw in that last game, which could mean even more rebound chances, which is why I'm leaning to the over on a lot of these plays. But yeah, D Live, the like. Now here's one that you probably have not considered. Damn, and it's been juiced like crazy. So Derek Lively's assist, 0.5 assists. It was like minus 140 in the first game. Now it's minus 250 for him to get one assist. He did have 3 assists in that last game. He had 5 potential assists. This is what I mean by Derek Lively. If he gets close to the rim or if he gets an offensive rebound, he's not necessarily going up with it. He's looking to pass. So I can't see any alternate lines for Derek Lively here, but I might even consider taking Derek Lively for 3 assists. I'm just going to open up Bet365 right now to see what type of odds I can get because I think the minutes are going to be there. Could be a little bit sweaty, but this Mavs team's been very unselfish. They're moving that thing around. So let me get into the player markets. Where's D Live? All right. Yeah. So it's plus 600 for him to get 3 assists. So what I'm going to do, I'm thinking, and I'm calling this out right now, I'm speaking out loud. I'm thinking of taking Derek Lively for 3 assists as a straight bet. And then I'm also, I think, another straight bet because his rebound line is juiced as, so I don't like that. So I might look at his rebounds plus assists, Derek Lively, which is at 8.5. What was his rebound line again? 6.5. Shit. Okay. So at 8.5, you're getting money, but then you really do need 2 assists for it to cover. Rebounds plus assists. Let me check that out. So he's cashing his last 3. Destroyed it in that game, 11 boards, 3 assists. But you're really just looking at recent form, to be honest. So I'm not sure if I love it that much. But I think he's going to definitely get the game time because Minnesota's so damn big. He needs to be on the court at all times. So 8.5, he's like 7 boards. You know what? I still don't hate it. Like mathematically, it's probably not the smartest play, but it is a plus money play after all. And it does include the assist, which I think is real value because his actual assist line's at 0.5. But it should be at 1.5. But at 1.5, you'll get major plus money. I'm just checking his assist line on here. Yeah, it's still 0.5 on here, which is not great. And then I might play a same game parlay if I check out the play here that I'm thinking. You only play a small bit on this, of course. So if I take Derek Lively for 3 assists, which you already know is plus 600, and then we also take him for 7 rebounds, plus 900 now. I'm not going to add points in because that's just being greedy. So a couple of Derek Lively players that I'm thinking about. Probably take his over in points. I'm not going to take his over in points. Let's not be crazy with it. But rebounds and assists, I do like those for Derek Lively. Now, who else do we have on this godforsaken team that has potential to pop off? I'll go with Derek Jones Jr. I don't think any of the bench guys for Dallas are even worth previewing. Their minutes are really low, and their usage rate is even lower. But DJ, 8.5 points is his line. Killed it in the last 3 games against OKC. 8 points against Minnesota. Played 35 minutes, took 9 shots, 4 from 9, 0 from 2 from 3. So the Minnesota Timberwolves are good at defending that 3-point line. Unlike OKC, who willingly give up the 3. So that forces Derek Jones into the paint, which is why his percentages aren't great. So his points prop, I'm not really feeling it. I did bet his rebound prop in the last game at 3.5. He did finish with 4. He did have 6 rebound chances. I would say I got lucky to cash that bet. But he's still at plus money. I was thinking about whether I should run it back or not. And I'm not going to. I'm just going to consider myself lucky for cashing it last time. And I'm not going to take it this time for Derek Jones Jr. If he does cash it, the line will probably move. But based off his rebound chances, they're not very high. So that's partly why the odds haven't really moved. Let's jump into these Minnesota Timberwolves to see if we can find some value over there. Let's talk about Ant Edwards. So somewhat subdued in that last game. 18 points, I believe. So let's look. His point line's come down. It's 27.5 and it's a plus money play. He's gone under this in 4 straight games now. Only 19 points against Dallas. 40 minutes, 16 shots. He was only 6 for 16, 5 from 12 from deep, and only got to the free throw line twice. So the main call out here for Anthony Edwards, he took 16 shots, 12 of them were 3-pointers. So he couldn't get inside. And then that's pretty much after halfway, he stopped trying to get inside. He was happy settling for that 3-pointer. And he did shoot a lot of them, which was great. It didn't necessarily lead to the win, and it didn't lead to many points for Anthony Edwards. Didn't really put too much pressure on the Dallas Mavericks. And a lot of that comes down to the Mavericks scheming, their defensive scheme. The question is, what do Minnesota do to open things up for Anthony Edwards? It's not just about him making the adjustment. The whole team needs to make an adjustment. So, again, this is one that I probably want to sit and wait for, because it's not like Anthony Edwards, like in other games in this playoffs where he's gone under his points line, you could see that there was a gap. There was something missing, whether it be effort or something like that. He hadn't figured it out yet. And against the Dallas Mavericks, he hasn't figured it out yet in this series. So Anthony Edwards points, that's one I just want to sit on and wait. Let's see where we land with that and see how he plays and what adjustments are made. There could be some value in his assists, which has gone up. 6.5 assists for Anthony Edwards is pretty high. He had 8 assists in that last game. 17 potential assists, though. So he'd be moving that rock around. So I guess it makes sense, but it's a 1-game sample where he's had really high assist numbers. So I'd probably be a little bit hesitant on that one. His rebounds at 6.5. So he had 11 boards in that last game, 15 rebound chances. Now, the rebound line for Anthony Edwards is something I can get around, because that, you just need motherfuckers to miss. And if they miss their shots, there's rebound opportunities. So the rebounds for Anthony Edwards at plus money, that's something I can probably lock my lips around it. In head-to-head matchups, he's been up and down, so nothing consistent here. But this is playoffs after all. I'm not putting too much stock into what happened in the regular season. Ant-Man's going to be heavily involved. But I think the question mark on that is, how involved is he going to be? So if you didn't watch that last game, Anthony Edwards looked gassed. And part of the problem is he's picked up the assignment on Kyrie Irving. And Kyrie Irving's not like Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray will pass the ball and wait, whereas Kyrie's moving. So, yeah, he seems to be gassed. Maybe he could look to take some sets off defensively. But at the same time, if he does, that means he's on the weak side more often, and these rebound chances could still potentially come. So I'm not overly concerned about it. His 3-point line is 3. I'm not loving that either. If I was coaching Anthony Edwards, I'm assuming what the coaching staff would be saying is for him to be more aggressive, get to the rim, get to the line. The question is, can he do it? So I think that will be his intent to get there. The question is, can he get there? The next man is my zesty bestie, Karl Anthony Towns. Very aggressive in that last game. Let's talk about it. 20.5 points is his line. Scored 16 points in that last game. I think everybody's well aware of this trend with Karl Anthony Towns at home. He's gone under in 10 straight games. Let's go back 20 games. So the last time he went over was the 25th of February at home. Since then, it's been about 15 to 16 games or something like that. 15 games where he's in a row where he's gone under this line at home. And look, part of it coming from injury and all that type of stuff, playing with Anthony Edwards, who's an elite scorer. But Karl Anthony Towns, what do we think about this? I did lean to his under last time. His head-to-head form against Dallas is pretty strong. But I lent to the under. My thinking now, he did take 20 shots in that last game. He was 6 from 20. He shot terribly, 30%. He was 2 from 9 from 3. So the volume was definitely there. He took enough shots to score well more than 20 points. It didn't happen. So I'm not going to take any bets on Karl Anthony Towns' points. On the volume and stuff like that, and the fact that the Timberwolves should be a little bit better in this game, I'd probably lean to the over, but not with much confidence. His assist line's at 3.5. I warned everybody last time not to take it and really wait to see how Dallas defends Anthony Edwards. They didn't necessarily get the ball out of, well, they did get the ball out of his hands, but he didn't give Cat room to operate. Cat had to take those shots, really. So the assist prop for Cat, his assists went to Rudy Gobert. He had 4 potential assists. So with his assist line, I'd lead to the under, but that's juiced as hell, minus 155. So don't bother playing that. His rebound line is at 8.5. He had 7 boards in that last game, only 11 rebound chances. And part of that is because Karl Anthony Towns is defending players on the perimeter. He doesn't just get to sit near the paint anymore. He's got to play out, so the rebounds might be difficult to come by. His line was at 8.5 in the last game, but it wasn't this juiced to the under. Now it's at minus 135. I think the value is gone. But if you're on fantasy, Karl Anthony Towns rebounds under 8.5, I think that's a good look. I don't mind that, but it won't be one that I do for a straight bet. Next up, we have Jaden McDaniels. Now, I've had this guy as a lean to the over for his points prop for quite some time now. And I feel like I now have the courage to take it. So at 12.5, he's covered in 3 straight games, 21, 23, 24 points. Played 40 minutes against Dallas. He took 15 shots. He made 60% of them, 6 from 9 from downtown. Now, I do not expect that from him again. I'm going to make an assumption here. His line's at 2.5. Shit, it's only at 1.5. So Jaden McDaniels 3-pointers, I'm looking at that. And the reason why I'm looking at that and the reason why I like his points prop is you could see it in that first game, Dallas were happy to give him that. Now, he did score quite well. He did make a lot of 3-pointers on them. But at the same time, if you're in Dallas's locker room, what are your thoughts? We managed to hold Cat down to nothing. Anthony Edwards did nothing. Mike Conley did nothing. Rudy Gobert didn't do much at all. And Jaden McDaniels happened to go off. I think they'd be happy to live with that type of result again because that's going to result in more wins than losses. So Jaden McDaniels, I think he still gets the open looks that he saw in game 1. And I still think he takes the shots because he shot so well. And we need to make 2 3-pointers to cash his bet. So I do like that for Jaden McDaniels. Points-wise, 12.5. Yeah, I like this one too. But I think the 3-point prop will probably be a little bit easier. We just need 2 buckets. Whereas this 12.5, we'll probably need a lot more. Some dunks, transition. Put it this way, like a lot of the Timberwolves, like 70% of his shots were 3-pointers in the last game. So that's where I'd be leaning. His rebound line's at 3.5. He did have 4 boards in that last game, but only 7 rebound chances. I'm not overly keen on that. Assists at 1.5. He did have 3. He had 8 potential assists in that game, which is pretty wild. Did only finish with 3, but 8 potential assists are pretty crazy. There's no guarantee that he does that again, though. So I'd probably pump the brakes on looking to play that. A quick look at his steals and blocks. He only had 1 steal in that Dallas game. I think it was on Luka. Then he got a fast break dunk. But no blocks for Jaden McDaniels, which is pretty wild. So I'm not overly keen on any others. So Jaden McDaniels 3-pointers is what I'm ultimately going to take, most likely anyway. Who else have we got? Where's Rodolfo? Rudy Gobert. So Rudy got torched in the drop coverage. Now keep in mind, the Timberwolves are the best in the league at drop coverage. The problem is drop coverage does not work when you have perimeter players like Kyrie and Luka, right? Luka's going to put his defender on his back like he did to Jaden McDaniels time and time again. When that defender goes to recover to get in front of the ball, it's an easy step back. It's an open mid-range. Whereas Kyrie keeps moving forward and he was popping floaters all over Rudy Gobert's face with a defender behind him. So drop coverage, be interested to see how Minnesota play this. They can't put Rudy Gobert out on the perimeter, so that's not going to work after a screen. They might have to give up more stuff in the corner. Who knows? But Rudy Gobert, 12.5. His line has not changed. The odds, they have favored to the under, but the line is very much the same. He had 12 points in that last game in 37 minutes. He was 4 from 8 from the field, so 50%, quite low for Rudy Gobert. He's normally up around 60. So if he's going to take 8 shots, I'd lean to the over. He gets to the free throw line, shot 67% in line with his average. I'm not going to take the bet, but I'm leaning over Rudy Gobert's points. His rebound line is also at 12.5 at plus 100. Only had 7 boards in that last game, but he had 25 rebound chances, which is pretty crazy. So the rebound chances are through the roof, so I would not take an under. But the fact that he's not securing boards that well, I wouldn't feel confident in taking that over. 12.5 rebounds is a lot. So you're better off looking at someone who's going to get uncontested rebounds like Anthony Edwards, because Rudy Gobert is battling Gafford or he's battling Lively, and there's a lot of tipping around. Derrick Jones crashes the offensive glass, PJ Washington. So that ball's being tipped around everywhere. Rudy's always in position, but not able to secure them. So caution for anyone looking to play Rudy unders. I think there's a chance he goes over his points. His rebounds, I can't tell you what the hell's going to happen. Next up, let's talk about Naz Reid. So Naz Reid looked real good. He had a stretch in that game where he was very effective scoring the ball. I think he got that block on Josh Green, ran up the court, went baseline, hit a corner three. That was a great sequence of play. Now his point sign's at 10.5. He scored 15 in that last game against Dallas. He's covered in 3 consecutive games this year. In those games, between 24 and 26 minutes. So in that last game, he only took 9 shots. He was 5 from 9 from the field. He was 3 from 6 from downtown, but only 2 from 4 from the line. Looking back at his last 10 games, he's taken about 8.8 shots. So that 9 shots that he did take in that last game, pretty much where his average is. He did score 15 points thanks to his hot shooting from downtown. 3 from 6 is not what you should expect from Naz Reid. If you're looking at his averages, he probably should have hit 2 from 6 at the percentages. And if you factor that in, he's still on 12 points on pure volume alone. So Naz Reid at home with Minnesota expected to be better. Naz Reid over in his points, definitely a lean for me. And at plus money, something that I might be willing to muck around with. Taking a look at his boards, 4.5 rebounds. He did have 5 boards in that last game. He only had 5 rebound chances. So I'm not fucking around with Naz Reid rebounds at all because his rebound numbers can go up and down like a yo-yo. So that's not one that I'm willing to entertain. But the points for Naz Reid, that's something I could potentially get around. We then have Mike Conley. So Mike Conley, very quiet in that last game. I think he needs to be more aggressive on the offensive end, given that they're shutting Anthony Edwards' tap off. Scored 6 points. He's 2 to 7 from the field, 1 from 6 from downtown, so he couldn't get it cooking. I probably lean to the over, but I love it. His assists are at 6.5. He only had 3 assists in that last game. Against Denver, his line was at 5.5 the whole time. So now that's at 6.5. He'd had 11 potential assists in that last game. So his potential assists have not changed. In these games against Phoenix, Denver, when he was getting 6, 7, 9, 10 assists, he was still getting about 11 rebound assist chances. So the potential assists are there. The Timberwolves just didn't shoot the ball that well, unfortunately. So I can see why the line is at, I'd have it at 5.5. Asking me at 6.5, there is no way I'm taking the over on that. But I'm not going to take the under because the potential assists are there. I can see him finishing on 6 or 7. His rebounds, that's at 3.5. This is traditionally sitting at the 2.5 mark. He did have 3 rebounds in that last game. He only had 5 rebound chances, though. So to get 4 rebounds, I'm not overly excited by that. So, yeah, nothing on Mike Conley. I did have a strong lean for the under in the last game. And not something that I did bet, but I did read Mike Conley quite well. I think there's a chance he could even get less minutes if he's not being aggressive on offense. So, yeah, look, I would lean to the under in his PRA, but not something I'm willing to play. Just taking a look to see if there's anyone else that grabs my attention. So Jaden Hardy played a little bit of time, but his props don't overly excite me. Josh Green, Tim Hardaway. I think one of them is going to have a great game in this series. I don't think it's going to be this one in game 2, though. Someone like Kyle Anderson kind of caught everyone by surprise. Dallas would have been wide open the whole time. So his points line's at 4. He did score 11 points in that last game in his 17-minute stint. He was 5 from 8, which is not something you would expect all the time. 1 from 3 from downtown. When he's on the court, Luka defends him, and Luka just falls asleep on this guy. So, yeah, look, for Kyle Anderson to make 2 buckets, I don't necessarily hate that. I just wonder if I can get a prop for Kyle Anderson, actually. Let me take a look. Yep, 3.5 is what I can get him for. Odds, juiced as hell. So, yeah, probably lean to the over, especially if he's going to get minutes, right? If you're going to get 17 minutes, you take Kyle Anderson every day of the week. Given he had a strong game in game 1 scoring, I can't see why they don't go back to him. So, to get 2 buckets from Kyle Anderson, I think that's a pretty good look. So, that's somebody for your DFS players. I'll take track of all these leans. I'll share all the leans with you anyway. And I'll call out ones are for DFS and which ones aren't. But I won't be playing it because the odds aren't for me. But yeah, Kyle Anderson should get a good run in this one. And if he gets 17 minutes, he can easily score 4 points, especially with the way that these guys are defending him. I can definitely see that one happening. So this video, somewhat quicker. Well, it was definitely a lot quicker and shorter than my usual ones. Reason being, I'm tired as hell, my boy. It's 10:30 right now as I record this, 10:30 p.m. Winter is coming here in Australia, so I'm probably getting another cold. Might have COVID again. Who knows? The COVID king could make his return. But as you know, to support me, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. If you've made it this far, want you to write something quite unique in the comment section. So for the people who didn't make it this far, they'll all be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I've seen a lot of YouTubers just put the time in there. I'm gonna say that. Let's not put. Let's get a bit jiggy with it. If you've made it this far, just pop in the comment section, type in the word gold chain. And the reason why I say that is I recently got this newish gold chain. Bought it online, got delivered, and then I was like, this chain is short as shit. So it's a little bit shorter than I would have liked. So it's probably something I'm going to give to my daughter. But either way, that's the backstory. I ask you, if you made it this far, put gold chain in the comment section below. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Best of luck if you choose to ride with me. Let's go.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to your line from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice on the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.